said was better than sex, probably was better than head. Yeah, I just said what I said, you know I'm in love with the bread. I've been jumping on couches, standing on marble floors, fucking the baddest. Wait, excuse me, when they gon' get back with the rest of the groupies? I heard money don't grow.
That's yours, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, that's cool, bro.
Yeah. We partnered with May Mob, so it has like the May Mob thing on there.
No way.
Yeah.
Deadass?
Yeah. No, we.
That's awesome.
Yep, they did a whole collab for the merch.
Didn't you guys shoot some stuff there?
Yeah, so we did. The project we collaborated with is called Elevator Money, and it's a mini series we shot like earlier this year. We released it. We premiered it last week.
I was trying to go to that, but we had something going on.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know about you till like last week too.
Oh, really?
Because hella people started posting like you and your project, and there's a lot of people that we follow that I think were in your project or were a part of it. Yeah. So what is Elevator Money?
So Elevator Money is it's a mini series that follows Ricky Garcia. He's a first generation Mexican American pizza delivery boy that on one of his deliveries finds $500,000 in an elevator. Okay. And he finds the money there because a money heist goes south and the money kind of like accidentally pops up on his floor. He takes the money and the storyline follows him after he takes the money because obviously more money equals more problems. But yeah, it's like this coming of age, crime filled comedy. There's a bunch of funny and interesting characters that you meet along the way. But overall, it's a proof of concept. So it's a 25-minute runtime, like proof of concept for our idea for like a feature film. Yep. So we made the proof of concept, and now in 2 weeks we're going out to LA. The 1st of November we're going out to LA to the American Film Market, and we're gonna pitch the idea of Elevator Money as a feature film. Wow. And we have like the mini series to show for it. But we try to build it as much as we can. The more hype, the more attention it gets, the better it is for us.
You did good. You did good. You got our attention.
Yeah.
Like, hella people. I'm telling you, like, dude. And I mean, you saw it yourself too, but it was crazy because we haven't seen that hype around something in a while, like just help and community. Yeah. From like a bunch of other people. Because obviously we follow, artists, rappers and stuff. And we always talk about how hard it is to get people to promote your stuff and just, some, like, you did really good.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my idea was I wanted to make it as collaborative as possible, collaborate with, like, as many people as I could. One, because, like, I felt like whenever you make it bigger than yourself, like, that's where it has, like, more, like, potential to be a moment, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think as a lot of, like, me coming up, our initial reaction is to like keep it like very low key, like I'll do everything, I'll shoot it, I'll record the audio, I'll write the script. Yeah. And I was already doing so much of that for so long. I was like, with this project, I kind of was still doing a lot. I wrote it, directed it, and acted in it. But I was like, I don't want to, as far as the people involved, I don't want like me and like 4 other people to have to take that whole burden. I was like, let's reach out to other filmmakers, other brands like Made Mob, like for sponsorships, for
fucking awesome.
Yeah, even just like Pollo was one of our sponsors, and they're a Mexican barbecue spot in KCK, and they gave us the location for free just to film after hours. Wow. So it was getting creative to see, okay, how can we collaborate with the city, with other creatives to like add value to the project and also like make it possible, because we didn't have a big budget. We had a pretty small budget for it, and if it wasn't for getting creative and figuring out like what favors we can call in, who we can collaborate with, it would have been like really hard to pull it off.
Dude, I bet. I didn't even get to introduce yourself. I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited. Like, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Emerson Aguilar. How you guys doing today? We got Esai here today with us. So you're a director, songwriter,
actor.
Yeah. And what else?
I'm just a creative.
Just creative.
I think professionally I'll go as like filmmaker, songwriter, actor. Yeah. But in general, like I love podcasts. I love creating content. Yeah. Like it gets me excited to do stuff like this because I'm like I get the grind. Like I know what it takes to like put the time in. So I think I'm just like a creative.
So where did you start? Like, what got you inspiration? Like, how did you start in all this?
Yeah. So I really kind of started like ever since I was little. I knew I wanted to be. I wanted to be in movies.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make movies. I wanted to be in movies, and I also wanted to make music. And like even from when I was like 5 or 6, I remember my first memory of like actually being like, oh, like I was actually doing this at a young age. I had the chicken pox when I was like 6,
mm-hmm.
and my mom quarantined me from the rest of the family because obviously it spreads. So I was like in the corner of like one of her, I think it was her room, on like a little fold out like mattress, and she let me play with her camera. So she had like a big VHS like the broadcasting style cameras that go on your shoulder. It was huge.
So was your mom into film stuff too?
No, that was kind of just like home video stuff.
Oh,
like my dad liked filming like for the church and stuff, and like he was
So it kind of like runs in your family. Like do you think that's what got you to pick up cameras more? Because you were around the cameras?
I don't know. My parents definitely weren't like, they were more like entrepreneurials. Like they were like, they had the spirit because they owned their own business. They had a Mexican restaurant, food truck. So like I think the go-getter like mentality and spirit was definitely like something I embraced from a young age from seeing them. But they weren't really like into music or into making videos. Like I think back then it was like just owning a camera. You record home videos. But yeah, I definitely was like, I was like bummed out because I was quarantined, and I made a song. It was a pretty good song. It was called Nobody Loves Me Because I Have the Chicken Pox. And it was like, that was the whole song. I just sang that over and over.
How old were you?
I was like 6. I was like 6 or 7. And I recorded me doing that. And I saw that video like, I don't know if it was middle school or high school. And that's when I was like, oh, like I've been subconsciously like doing this for a while. But when I really, really got started was like probably like middle school with YouTube.
Yeah. Because
I was like part of like the YouTube OG wave, like the Smosh. Yeah.
Yes.
Smosh, like Ryan Higa, all like the OG YouTubers. And I think in 7th grade I got my like first camera. Like my parents bought me like a little like camcorder, and I started making YouTube videos. And I'd get all my friends from the neighborhood. And we just like would think of a skit, we'd go shoot it.
Like us, bro.
Yes.
Yeah, literally like, and that was how I got started. Like it just kind of snowballed into more and more videos. In high school, it kind of started taking off. But yeah, then like after high school, when I was like, okay, well if I want to do this as a career, like what are my options? Because back then you couldn't make money off YouTube. YouTube was like, it was like popular and stuff, but there wasn't like, I think the Creators Fund was like brand new, only a couple years old. And like companies weren't sponsoring creators like they are now. But yeah, so I was like, I need to go to school or something to figure out like how to make a living off of it. So I regret like leaving YouTube for those years because I had finally built like I was getting like, a couple thousand views per video, and some would get like 100,000. And I was like, oh, it's like it's starting to pop. And then a company even reached out to me. They were called Crotch Gear. And they were like, hey, we want to sponsor your channel. So one day I came home from school and like there was a big box like of just probably like 10 sweatpants, 10 hoodies, like a bunch of just merch. And I was like, Mom, I made it. Like, Mom, I'm doing it. Like, look at this. Like,
that's
this
awesome.
Is crazy. Yeah. So that was like, I kind of quit YouTube right after that because I was like, I got to, figure out how to actually make a living off of filmmaking. But that's how I got started, just kind of off YouTube.
Yeah. What type of videos were you filming back then?
It was mostly just skits and like reaction videos.
Yeah.
Okay. What year was that?
This was like 2000. I started my channel in 2008, and I was probably going pretty steady till like 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's when we kind of
started.
We were in middle school. Or I don't even know. We were young.
Yeah.
We used to shoot like Facebook videos and stuff like that.
Those little cringy videos.
Yeah.
Because I used to like in like elementary, middle school, I would remake movies because of Smosh and stuff. I would like remake movies and like direct them with my friend groups and stuff. In middle school. And I think I still have them. They were up on my Facebook, but I had to remove them because it's so bad.
Dude, yeah, I had like a lot of them are private now because I'm like, this is so crazy. Like, it's so embarrassing. I didn't want to delete them though because I'm like, it's cool to look back and it's like that was part of the journey.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was a time. It was a wild time too. Like
So you went to college, university?
Yeah.
Film school?
After, I went to Northwest Missouri State, and I joined their mass media program.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like film school, but it was like a combination of like broadcasting, TV, film, and like journalism.
Yeah.
And it was cool. I was there for like I think a year and a half. But I realized it wasn't really what I wanted to focus on. I wanted to go to like a proper film school, and maybe one with like a acting or like a theater type of program that I could also do. So I went back home, went to community college at Maple Woods for like a semester. I actually really enjoyed it. Community college was like probably some of the most like fire classes I've ever taken. Like the craziest, like the most like memorable professors and lessons came from like community college. But anyways, I went to Missouri Western after that, and Missouri Western, it's kind of at the time was like a hidden gem. It had like the program was cinema and theater, and it was exactly what I was looking for. It was a film program that also had like I think it was like half the credits or like a lot of credits that had to be with acting and theater. So if you wanted to get a film degree, you had to take acting classes, acting for camera, like theater, stage, like building stages, a bunch of other stuff. So to me, it was like awesome. It was fun, you know. Like I met a lot of good friends there, and it was like a year and a half into that one too, where I was like starting to get a little bit of work in KC.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, like while I was in college, like I'd be coming back to KC like every weekend because I was trying to like shoot weddings or shoot like promo videos or even work at my parents' restaurant. My mom has a seafood restaurant in Wyandotte. So I'd go there and like work on the weekends to save up money to buy gear. But yeah, when I was in Mo West, a year and a half into it, I realized I think if I just like pursued it full time, I could probably maybe start making money or something, or like I just felt like I was kind of holding myself back in school because I was like, if an opportunity presents itself, I can't take it because I have class. So I told my mom, I was like, Mom, give me a year to see if I can like do it full time, and if I can't, like I'll go back to school, I'll finish, and you know, like I'll like pay for it if I have to, because she was helping me pay for schooling. She like saved up a lot of money while I was growing up because to her education was very important. But she gave me the chance. They didn't like it, but at the end of it, she agreed. And I was like only like I think I had 2 semesters left before I graduated. So it was a big deal because like she's like, why are you gonna leave now? Like you only have 2 semesters left. Like just finish. You've already put in this much work. And I was like, Mom, just trust me. I have a gut feeling like if I just leave school, like I think something is gonna happen. And she ended up getting sick. So like when I came back to KC, I had a couple jobs lined up. They all fell through. Like none of them. Like pretty much my whole like 2 months of coming back, like completely like vanished in thin air. All the clients pulled through, the projects fell through. So I was like, shit, like I don't have any money. I'm like in my mom's basement, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to get work, you know, emailing everyone that I can, like DMing everyone that I can. But she ended up getting sick, and she couldn't work for like 6 or 7 months. And you know, she's the owner operator of her business, so without her, like her business really wasn't sustainable. So it ended up being a blessing because I was able to not have to be in school. So I just went straight to work with my brother at her restaurant, and we worked and operated her restaurant for like 6 months. And this is like 2018. But I was like, damn, like since I'm you know at the restaurant now, like I'm definitely not getting clients. I'm not building connections or networking. Like it's gonna be really hard for me in a year to like be making a living off of it. But when I was working at the restaurant, like it was like, you know, 8 to 12 hour days at the restaurant, like every day pretty much.
Dang.
So there was no way I could film anything, but I've always loved music, and I've dabbled in music. I learned like how to audio engineer from my friends.
We listened to it. It sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So yeah, I always had an ear for music, and I was always interested in it. And that year, I was like, okay, I want to take it serious and start like actually putting out music and seeing if I can build a fan base, start doing live shows. So like, I'd work at the restaurant, you know, the whole week, and then at night I get off like around, you know, 7 or 8, and then I'd come home and I would just work on music because I could do that without needing to find someone to film or taking all the time to film and edit something. And I worked on an EP called Overcast, and that was like my first like musical project. that I officially put out. And after that, I was like, okay, I could maybe do this. Like it was pretty like well received. I was able to open up for Bozzy and Futuristic off like that catalog and with that music. So I realized, okay, I could definitely do this. It's not going to be easy building a fan base.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much like building two different businesses at the same time. Which, if you talk to like any entrepreneur or like business professor, they're like, that's a terrible idea. Like just focus on one. But to me, I was like, I want to do both, and I was like, I might fail, but I'm gonna try. So that's kind of been my music journey as well. It kind of came from the filmmaking journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many people this is going back to the elevator money.
Yeah.
How many people did it take like to even get the project? Like
Elevator Money?
Yeah. How many people were involved?
Man, Elevator Money was definitely the biggest like independently produced thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
I was like when I was editing it, I had like put the credits of everyone, and I was nervous that I was missing people. Cause it was like an 8-month journey of just like, I think total we probably have like maybe 50, 60 people involved that worked on it. From crew to like the soundtrack and album, which we actually dropped today. I gotta show it to you guys.
Yeah.
The album's out today.
Where can they listen to it?
The album's called Elevator Money, the album, and it's on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. You can stream it. Yeah.
Sounds good.
But yeah, so there's probably like 40 to 50 people involved with it, and it was definitely the biggest thing like I've ever done independently. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it gonna be out on? It's not out, right? It was only premiered.
Yeah. So we premiered it on the 12th of October, and at the Armor on Screenland, and it was pretty fun. A lot of people came out, and the thing with like a short series or like a short film, a lot of festivals that we're submitting to, they kind of want the exclusive premiere of it or like screening of it.
Yeah.
So they might turn you down if it's already on YouTube.
Yeah.
Or like Vimeo. So we were thinking about okay, how can we release it but it still be kind of like private and not just out. So we're gonna launch a Patreon. Have you heard of Patreon?
Yeah, of course. I was thinking to my mom, like, you should drop a Patreon.
Yeah.
You're already on there.
Yeah. So me and Abram Schaefer, the musical director for the album, he's also an amazing content creator. We teamed up to create the Patreon, and we have like 3 different tiers. So like the first tier, you can pay just to watch the show. I think 2 episodes come out every other week, and there's 5 episodes total. The second tier is the same thing. The episodes come out bi-weekly, but then you also get like our mini masterclass. Yeah. We break down like how we did the budgeting, how we got sponsorships for the production, how we got our cast crew, the creative choices. We've been filming all that content this week. Yeah. It's like been crazy. And then he's breaking down like the album music production side of things. Yeah. So he's breaking down like how he built the beats out for the album, how he mixed or sampled certain things for the album. Really like fire like content that's super in depth that I wish I would have had, or you probably wish you would have had when you were coming up, you know? Yeah. But yeah, so we're doing the Patreon, and then the third tier is you get all the episodes all at once. You get all the masterclass stuff as well, and we're also planning on having more screenings and more events, so they get access to all those events for free. And then we're also going to have a group chat where, you know, if anyone wants to join that tier, they have direct access to me and the producers of Elevator Money.
You should make a tier with shirts.
Yeah, with the shirts. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
How do you find these people? Like, how did you connect to all those 40 people?
Man, it was just like years of just working in the film industry. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I met so many people on set. Whenever you're working as a freelancer, so my bread and butter because I'm self-employed. What I do full time is I get hired to be a cinematographer or director for projects. Sometimes a different role, but like an agency or a producer in town or like ESPN will be like, hey, we're looking for this person, they recommended you, and then you'll work, and that's kind of how I make my money right now. So when you're working on sets as a freelancer, you meet other freelancers, you meet other people that are doing the same thing, and over the last 3 or 4 years of working as a freelancer, I've met so many people in different departments, built relationships with them. So when I presented them the series, I was kind of asking them for a favor, and they were really receptive. They liked the idea. So that's kind of how it worked out.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people that we've had on. They want to be actors. So
Yeah.
if you guys are watching, hit them up.
Yes.
If you need directors or anything like that. What's your go-to camera?
My go-to camera?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Let me think about that. My go-to camera, I love the Blackmagics.
Blackmagic?
Yeah, Blackmagics.
4K or 8K? Is there a 6K one, right?
Yeah, I have a 4K one and a 6K Pro.
Yeah, that one.
The 6K Pro is probably the best bang for buck camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's such a solid camera, like, with everything it does, frame rate, codecs, all that stuff. So yeah, I would say probably a Blackmagic. I've been working, so we shot the masterclass on an FX3, a Sony FX3.
Yep.
And that's Abram's camera, and I've started to really like that camera.
Oh yeah, I've been looking into that one.
Yeah. It's I never liked Sony's too much. I just never really used them, and the menu system's kind of confusing.
Mm-hmm.
But the FX3 is nice. I'm like, I might maybe buy that later on.
Oh yeah.
And it's just a content-friendly camera. Like, it's portable. It has XLR ports for the microphones. The codecs aren't super heavy and like storage-wise. So my as of now, my recent favorite camera is a Sony FX3.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What picture profile do you shoot on?
Well, it just kind of depends on the project. If it's like a bigger commercial project, I also have a red Komodo that I shoot on, and that's like for certain, just a very specific amount of projects. But usually with that, I'll shoot in RAW, like red RAW. And the good thing about RAW usually is that you can adjust everything in post.
Yeah.
Same thing with Blackmagic RAW. But then on Sony's, I think he uses S-Log 3. Pretty sure.
Yeah, that's the most one you can just free.
Yeah, adjust it
however you want.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What lenses?
I really like Sigma lenses.
Sigma, yeah.
Yeah, Sigmas are my favorite. I'm trying to think of what else. Whenever you have a budget, like anamorphic lenses are fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you've ever worked with them, they're like really. There's so many different. Like, it's getting cheaper to get into anamorphics now.
Mm-hmm.
Even like 3 years ago, it was so expensive. Like, you would have to just rent them out, and they'd be these gigantic, like, telescope-looking lenses that were like super expensive a day to rent out. But now there's a bunch of brands. Suri, Anamorphics is one that I've used. I love their lenses. Like Greatjoy is a really cool company that does anamorphics. What's the other one? They do the Atlas anamorphics. They have really quality glass for like a cheaper price for anamorphics. But yeah, it just depends on the project.
Gotcha. I have a question. Do you know the Sony S3?
Mm-hmm.
A7S3?
Yeah.
Do you recommend the Sony
FX3?
Or the other one? The Sony A7S3? Because they're about the same. Yeah. Except that the other one, because I do photography a little bit too, so the other one can work for a little bit of photography. Yeah. But what do you think in that opinion?
Well, Abram actually, because I didn't know this either, but the FX3 you can take photos on. It has all the photo features that the A7S3. Yeah.
I did not know.
I didn't know that either, because he was taking photos on it, and I was like, is it just like a screenshot? Like, no, it's just like the same.
Really?
As A7S3. At least that's what he told me. I've never shot photos on it, but the photos look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're doing more like video content.
Yeah, because if I get it, we're gonna definitely use it for the podcast. So
yeah,
that would look probably insane.
Yeah, exactly. And if you have like XLR, these are like what USB. Yeah. If you ever update and have like XLR microphones, you can just plug straight into your camera.
Really?
And not have to worry about syncing it.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're upgrading our here soon too. Yeah, we're excited. Dude, so it's so awesome to see, especially like a Hispanic entrepreneur like you. It's just glad to see, you on your come up and stuff. What's like the top goal? What's the, I made it, mama, I made it type of goal?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I don't have like a I made it moment, because I really like the idea of like cherishing like the little wins. Yeah. Like a little I made a moment was just seeing my mom at the theater. Yeah. Like how excited she was when like we sold it out. She was like, she couldn't believe how many people were there. and just seeing her reaction was like, okay, I made it. Like, no
Yeah.
matter what happens, like, this is gold, you know, like.
Oh yeah.
But like just career-wise, like short term right now, we're really trying to get a feature film budget for Elevator Money and bring it back to Kansas City. And that's like one thing that I think is really important to me in this process. There's a lot of filmmakers or projects or scripts that get picked up, but they wanted to like shoot them in LA, Atlanta, Chicago, you know, just kind of like where the industry is.
Yeah.
I'm not really keen to like doing that because I feel like it kind of follows the same trajectory. You know, like I want to come back to KC and start showing that there can be narrative projects produced here. There can be, you know, TV shows, feature films being shot in Kansas City using Kansas and Missouri's locations. And I think the biggest thing that's missing right now is the tax incentives. Missouri and Kansas really don't have great tax incentives for filmmakers and production companies, studios. So they all go to wherever the best tax incentives are. But I think, you know, I want to fight to start bringing more stuff here. So then maybe like, you know, if we bring back like $1 million budget to Kansas City, that's coming right back into the economy. That means like we're hiring caterers, we're paying for locations, we're paying for, you know, people to build sets, we're paying crew. Like everything is going to be circulated in Kansas City. So I think like if that starts to happen and they start to see the money coming back to KC, even if it's a lot harder to film here, I think that's going to open up the door for Kansas City and productions here. And that's what excites me. You know, I'm like, if we can be a little bit of a catalyst to push like the possibility of Kansas City getting a lot more creative projects, then that makes me happy. I'm like, bet, like we're doing something that has a little bit more legacy than just going out to LA and doing a big movie and then everyone here like, oh, great job, you know, like I want to bring it back. And it's like the energy's here, the people are here, and it's created here, you know.
That's awesome.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's really inspiring because like even though we are a podcast, that's what we also want to bring. You know, like we want to make sure that Kansas City stands out. It's like how you're saying that you want to bring it back in here. Yeah, it's really good. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what excites me. Like I think I'm sure we could go to another city and it'd be easier to sell because you know a lot of studios or even like investors are like they like what they're familiar with. So if they've already invested in a project that had returns and it was in LA or Chicago, they kind of want to do that again because they know there's studios, they know there's locations, whatever permits that they've already like seen that worked and the production was flawless or maybe not flawless, but the production it got through and it made money back. They kind of want to use that same formula because as soon as you don't follow that formula, there's like variables that could mess things up. So I think that's a big thing with KC is that there's not a whole lot of things that are being produced here as far as TV and film. There's a ton of commercials. Commercials are like, there's a ton of commercials here, even reality TV, but not really like a TV show or a feature film or something. So I think if we start showing that there is a market here, there is an infrastructure here to do that, I think a lot more stuff can start happening.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a studio in Kansas City, like you know, kind of like one of those in LA? There isn't, right?
Like a soundstage?
No, like a studio, like where like people go shoot.
Like build sets and stuff. There's a couple. They're not at the same scale. I think it's another big reason why that productions like that don't come here. There is one. I think there's one like in Lee Summit or I think somewhere around there where they have like a pretty large soundstage. And that's usually used for mostly like commercials, stuff like that. Strange Music, they have a pretty dope setup. They have a soundstage. I'm not sure if they rent it out to the public, but yeah, they have like a big sink wall and ways to rig up lights and even build stuff. But there's a few. I mean, KC, like the unique thing about KC is that there's a lot of locations that you can film at that have a lot of character. Yeah. You know. You can film in some blocks in downtown that kind of look like Chicago or New York architecture, you know? Yeah. And then you can go to Kansas and be completely in the boonies. You know what I mean? Like a Western film. But yeah. Yep.
That's awesome. Where do you see yourself in 2 years from now?
2 years from now? I really like want to. That's a really good question. I really want to create things in a way where I have more leverage. Right now it's tough because you know, we created a quality product, a lot of hype for it, but at the end of the day, we still have to ask someone for money to like make it bigger, right? We still have to kind of sell ourselves.
Yeah.
And I get it's part of the process, and it's always going to be part of the process. You always kind of have to sell yourself as a creative a little bit. But I can't wait until I'm in a point where I can have the leverage to have people come to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm hoping in 2 years from now we have like a project or, you know, a film or something that has a lot of success monetarily, to where then it's like, okay, like we need Esai, we need that team to produce this based off that success and the amount of money that brought in. So that's kind of what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'll be in 2 years, you know, in a place that has a little bit more leverage, and I can say yes or no to things a lot easier.
Yeah. When you coming out with the Netflix show?
Man, hopefully Elevator Money becomes that, you know?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's the goal. That's the goal. If we could produce Elevator Money, whether it be a series or a film, I wrote that down in my journal when I first started writing the script. It's like, Elevator Money is the biggest Netflix show in the U.S. Elevator Money is #1 in top 10 trending TV shows in the U.S. Like, I wrote that like over and over and over again. So when that comes true, that'll be crazy. And I'm just happy for the ride. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, what's crazy is like you saying that, just like hearing him say it, like I'm like, damn, that shit's most likely going to come true. Like, because I can hear you manifesting it. And just like the way you're saying it, like it's bound to come true. Yeah. It's bound to come true. So how does someone start, like, for example, how do I even start? Like, because by the end of next year, I want to have my first short film, like legit short film shot. So obviously gather up the people, gather up the script. Is there any other advice for like someone else who's watching and is trying to get into filmmaking?
Yeah, there's so many different tips. For like a first time filmmaker, like the first project they've ever done, kind of. Or
I guess so, because that would be my first like legit.
Yeah,
I think so.
Honestly, like if it's something where like you have a little bit of time before you're planning on doing it, like if you're doing it like next year, some of the best advice I could give is like just getting on other people's sets. If you get like, I learned the most on other people's sets as a production assistant. You know, at the bottom of the totem pole, you know, sometimes you get treated like trash. Sometimes, you know, you're not as respected because it's the young person that doesn't really matter. They're just here to serve us coffee or give us snacks. Yeah. But I love being a PA because you are a fly on the wall. Like you really get to like see everything and like almost unfiltered, right? Because a producer or an AD or a coordinator or whatever, like they're gonna act differently in front of the client, in front of the director, in front of this person. But in front of a PA, especially if they don't know you, like you're gonna see their true colors. And I've learned a lot like from that. I've learned how to, more than anything, I've learned how I want to react in certain situations and how I do not want to react. And in filmmaking is such a team sport. You know, like filmmaking literally is, I see it almost as a sport. Like you start, you know, you have like the first quarter, second quarter, halftime, you get lunch, and then you have the third and fourth quarter, which is that wrapping up the day. But everyone is vibing off of the energy that the crew leaders are giving out, right? So whoever's a quarterback on set, if it's the producer, if it's the director, you know, if they're stressed out, negative, anxious, taking their frustration out on crew, that's going to trickle down. So I've learned, like, okay, the first thing when it comes to filmmaking is understanding your emotional IQ and how to treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, it's really simple. Like, with Elevator Money, there was plenty of times where shit was hitting the fan. Like, we were falling behind on schedule. We weren't getting everything we needed. Like, we were having location issues, all this stuff. And as like the filmmaker or the leader of the crew, you have to kind of sit back and be like, okay, this is not my crew's fault. You know, even if it is, like, as the leader, you have to be like, okay, well, maybe I can do a better job explaining. Maybe I can do a better job in my preparation for the production.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of take a step back and understand your role first. But yeah, my first tip would be go on other people's sets. People that are more experienced than you, just ask them, hey, I'd love to just be a production assistant. I'd love to help out. And you'd be surprised. They'll be like, yes, we're looking for PAs. Oh, you work for free? Definitely. You're on the list, you know?
Yeah.
So that's probably the best advice because you'll learn so much in one shoot, in one day. The second advice would be like understanding that filmmaking is about preparation. So to your best of your ability, like prepare everything you can. Think of almost any scenario. Think of while you're writing the script, like, is the script really in my budget? You know, if I have a $1,000 budget for this short film, can I really do these crazy like car chasing, you know, like backflip scenes, jumping out of a building? No, I don't have a budget for that.
Yeah.
So you have to get creative and understand, okay, well, how can I get the same feeling or sentiment that I want my audience to have, but in a way that is fitting my budget.
Yeah.
For example, Elevator Money, we shot Elevator Money in one location per episode. So like one scene per episode, right?
Yeah.
Because we knew, okay, like that's going to save us time, it's going to save us money on locations, and it's more possible for us to do that, right? So, you know, we had an episode in downtown KC in an apartment building. We had another location at an apartment. You know, my friend Jarrell, he's a producer on the project. We shot it in his apartment. It was free. Then we shot at Pollo. We got that location for free, but that was a whole scene that just took place there. And then we had a warehouse location for the last 2 episodes. But I wrote it that way because I knew this will fit the budget. I can ask for favors. I can write an apartment scene or an episode that's accessible to me. So understanding, okay, I need to prepare not only for the story, but also like what fits my budget and what's actually like possible.
Yeah.
What was the first one?
Emotions.
Yeah. Understanding getting on set.
Yeah,
right?
getting on set.
Getting on set, learning from other people, preparing your project to be realistic to what you can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the third one I think would be like having the faith to like understand like you have to have the final vision, right?
Yeah.
And you can't expect your other crew members or producers or your right hand person to have the same faith that you have. Mm-hmm. Like with me, I brought on one of my best friends, Cloud and Josiah. They were like my executive producers. They helped me pretty much bring everything to life. Cloud was like my right hand man. We wrote the script together. I passed almost every idea through him to get his feedback, and at times there was a lot of pushback.
Yeah.
Like Cloud was like, "Yo, I don't know if this is realistic. I don't know if we need more time to prepare for this. The timeline is way too quick. What if this doesn't work?" Like he was kind of playing devil's advocate, and at times I got frustrated, and I'm like, "Why do you not believe in this? Like I need you to believe in this like I do." And then I had to take a step back and realize that's not his job. His job is to be realistic. It's to give me pushback and to challenge me, because if not, I could fall into delusion. I could fall into, this is all going to work. It's all going to be great, because no one's actually telling me what they really feel. So it's important to have the faith and the vision, to follow it through and have unwavering faith. You're going to have doubts. Doubt will creep in. At times you might feel you can't do it, but you still have to have that engine to be like, no, we're going to try it regardless. And 2, have people around you that are going to challenge you. Have people that are going to play devil's advocate, that are going to be like, hey, are you sure you want to write this dialogue this way? Are you sure the character would do this? Are you sure this location makes sense? Because that's going to help you make a better story and a better film.
That's good advice.
Good advice.
Good advice. Another question I have is, do you need to go to film school to become a director?
No, you really don't have to go to film school. And a lot of filmmakers that have become very successful, they're probably dropouts or they never went to film school. Quentin Tarantino never went to film school. There's so many filmmakers, I can't even think of them all. But you really don't have to. The biggest value I got from film school was the network I created. Because when you're in a program, like a film program, you're automatically, by default, in a group of people that are like-minded.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that they're on the same mission as you or like they take it as serious as you. Like I knew from the start, like I'm going to film school so I can learn as much as I can. Like I was like the kid in the front of the class. I was like staying after class asking the professor like random questions like, okay, I get like how to light a scene, but how are you making money? Like, you know, like how do you charge people? What's like a budget you should be charging people? So if you go to film school, if you can afford it, and if you're not going into a crazy amount of debt, I say it's a great resource, especially if you have maybe some inexperience or not as confident in your skill set. But take advantage of it. You know, if you're paying for it, like squeeze everything out of it. You know, be on your professor's head about everything, because they're there to help you. Hopefully, right? They're there to be a resource. And then, if you're going to film school, realize, hey, this person I'm meeting in this class for the first time might be my business partner and like go-to person 10 years from now, which is like kind of what happened with me and my friend Jarrell. Like I met Jarrell in 2017, 18, and you know now we're business partners and we have a production company. Yeah. So yeah, film school is a great option, but you don't need it. You can literally, I've learned more on YouTube than anywhere else, and that's true. Like study YouTube, like look up whatever you want to look up. Like if you want to learn more about cinematography, there's so many resources. And then get on set, work as a production assistant, and learn from other people. That's just as valuable as film school.
You got anything?
No, I feel like it's kind of like. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
What are your 3 top films? No order, but like you really like rewatching them or you like them a lot.
Honestly, I watch TV a lot more than like film.
Okay.
So my favorite TV shows right now, well, my favorite TV show of all time is Community. It's like a NBC show that came on like in like the early 2010s. Community is really funny. It's a good show. Atlanta's really good. Smallville was like my favorite show of all time. That's what I came up on. I love Smallville.
That's that like Superman stuff.
Yeah,
right?
it's like Clark Kent before he became Superman.
Okay,
it's so fire, bro. It's good. It definitely has like seasons where it fell off a little bit, but like the first 2 or 3 seasons of Smallville, unbeatable, bro. Unmatched. Yeah, those are my favorite shows.
Okay. And so the liking of you, for the reason that you like shows is kind of why Elevator Money was kind of like a episode series. Is that why or? Yeah,
I think so. I think I wrote it that way because that's what I like the most. But I think we're gonna pitch it as a feature film.
Yeah.
So.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Damn. So wait, where were you born?
So
Kansas.
I was born in KCK. I was born in Wyandotte.
Okay.
My parents, they moved here they're originally from Chihuahua. My sister and my brother were born in Chihuahua. And then they moved to Anaheim, like LA, for a few years. Then they moved to KC and had me like a year after they moved here or something like that. But yeah, my mom is crazy, bro. My parents, like they're grinders, like, you know what I mean? Like they really, I think about their story and how they came up, like from, you know, really like my dad was over here on visa, like just, you know, working the farms and saved up enough money to like get their papers right, come here, and, you know, they started their own business. They were selling tamales out of like their trunk at church, you know, and they were able to save up enough money to like buy a food truck, and that was successful. And they bought their own like actual restaurant and tortilleria. Like they were going crazy for a while, and some of their businesses failed. Like it wasn't a success story where like it was successful all the way. Like there was definitely hardship. Like growing up, there's a lot of stress on like, are we gonna lose the house? Can we like still like, you know, afford this? So I learned a lot through them. I learned a lot of the value of money, the value of hard work. But I think most immigrants and children of immigrants kind of get that embedded in them.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I have dude, the thing is, like, I had so many questions before this interview because usually, like, I met a few filmmakers in the city, but I've never, like, you know, asked questions or, like, and, like, you're the first one in a while. other than like watching YouTube.
Yeah.
That's my other like way I learn, I guess.
Right.
But like I had so many questions in mind, like like technical questions, but I already forgot all of them.
He told me that yesterday because I saw him and she's like, I'm ready, I'm gonna ask this, and then he got here. I'm like, you got your questions? He's like, I think I forgot.
we even tried writing some on the board.
Oh, that's funny.
Did you see that when you came here?
No, I thought Loki was like from like another meeting or something.
No, yeah, we had a.
How many reps does it take?
The spelling is bad. The spelling is all me, so don't even trip. We good.
I know to find people.
What inspires you?
What inspires me?
Yeah.
That's a good question. What inspires me? Man, I really like. There's so many different things that could inspire you. For me, a big thing, I always try to like ground myself in like being a delusional optimist, like my mom is. Like my mom is like so optimistic about everything, like, and she's always been able to figure out like the bright side of things, and I think that's one thing growing up I took away from her. So when it comes to being creative and thinking of ideas, I think I have to start there. Like, even if, because a lot of us create out of a darkness or like a dark period of our life. Some of the best music ever has probably come from like a breakup or, a betrayal or whatever, and films too. But I think the idea of like seeing filmmaking or music or any type of art form as a privilege, for one, to like be alive in a time where you can like create it and work on it, is important, right? Like a lot of us, sometimes we focus on like, damn, like I wish I had this camera, or like if only I had this location, or if only I was in LA, like, in KC it's a big thing. Everyone thinks if they move somewhere else, like their life is gonna work, and their career is gonna take off. But I challenge myself and other people to think like, hey, like it's a privilege to even have the opportunity to like do this wherever you're at with whatever you have, whether it's a phone, whether it's, like a little recorder. Like, it's a privilege. Like a lot of people don't get this privilege. A lot of people, for whatever reason, don't get to create like we get to create. So I think I always try to approach anything I do from that standpoint first, and that's what inspires me. And then, then I just try to think about like just people, like how, like why people function the way they do. Like I'm the worst. Like I'll see someone like outside like picking up trash, and in my head it just automatically like I come up with a backstory, like an origin story of why they're doing that. Yeah. Like it just happens, and it maybe isn't the best thing because I don't know that person at all. But like I think like storytelling and taking something as simple as this microphone, and like figuring out the story behind it. Yeah. Like the engineers that took so many hours to build it, the CEO that maybe like almost went bankrupt to make this company. Like I love, and I get inspired off like unveiling or creating a story around something simple.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just like how nerdy and videography you are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not an insult or anything. That's just like.
No, I'm definitely a nerd, bro.
Yeah. And it's good though. Just like you actually seem passionate about what you do, and genuine too. That's another thing that we like. We like to.
Because I believe that when you have a passion and you really work, like you have that vision that you have, you're unstoppable. Mm-hmm. Because you build that confidence over time. Like I did this, now I got over that. I can do this next step.
Yes.
So it's really awesome to see how you talk about it and how you represent yourself and like how positive you are, and like he said, you're an inspiration, especially because like we said, we've never met also like any other Hispanic directors, or at least I haven't. I don't know about him or anything, any Hispanic that's really doing something for the city. Mm-hmm. And it's really nice to see that you're doing something. So
yeah, that's love.
Really cool.
Thank you. No, that means a lot, and I'm excited for you guys too. You guys want 6 months into this, 8 months into it,
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I think this platform could be really cool, and I think like there's not a whole lot of platforms like this, and I'm excited for you guys. I think you guys should keep it up, double down and go hard on this because it's a great idea.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Yeah. So what's next?
What is next? In 2 weeks we'll go out to LA. We go pitch Elevator Money. hopefully, what's next? We come back with a big feature film budget.
Yeah.
And we shoot Elevator Money, the movie.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
That's
lit.
the goal.
That's awesome.
The album is out though.
Yeah.
That came out today. For any hip hop heads or R&B heads, like Elevator Money, the album is all like it's fire. It covers trap. It goes to like a little bit of pop and then R&B. And with the album, we really wanted to like kind of take you through like Ricky's experience with the money. You know, it starts off very braggadocious, get the bag, money, like, you know, and then it kind of gets a little bit more conscious with like, okay, but once you have the money, like once you start coming down from that high, what happens? Yeah. And then the ending of the album is like, okay, like once you have the success, once you have the money, like what else is there? You know, like you thought this was it. What's next? And that's kind of similar to that question. But yeah, what's next? So the album kind of fills the hole because the miniseries is 25 minutes, but I feel like the album really tells a really like almost like feature film like story. Yeah.
I'm excited. We're gonna listen to that.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
You got anything there?
No, it's just you know, we appreciate you for coming. You know, it's really nice, the inspiration you give us too. So it was nice meeting you.
Yeah.
You know, keep working, and we're ready to see this film. So.
Yeah.
What's it called? Is there anything you want to promote? Where can they like help? You know, if you have like a Patreon or somewhere where they can like donate or something for your film.
Let me think about that. I don't even know what my Patreon username is.
We can link it down below.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll just do that. Yeah, so if there's any filmmakers, musicians, or creatives that kind of want to get a behind-the-scenes look at how we made Elevator Money, our Patreon is going to be the best way to do that. We're going to have literally like just documents that we use for our budgets, location agreements, scheduling. We're giving that out. We're giving that all out to our Patreons. And yeah, it's going to be really cool. So if you guys want to learn more about Elevator Money, learn more about filmmaking and music, go check out our Patreon, and appreciate it.
Yeah, it'll be linked down below. And yeah, guys, thank you so much, Esai, for pulling up. We appreciate you. It was actually fun talking to you and just getting to learn about your journey and stuff and what's next.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys leave a like and comment down below if you have any questions. And this was Come A Vibe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.